Cup of coffee. I gesture to the hotel window. It's not much to see. Anybody know what that chair in the corner of a hotel room's called? Never heard of it before. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I have a channel now. We're going to try it out. So as you can see, I'm not at the farm today. I'm currently hiding out in a hotel in beautiful Louisville, Kentucky. I just got checked in for the North American Honeybee Expo. I actually made it here this year. I've been trying for 4 years now. The expo doesn't officially kick off until this afternoon, so I got a little bit of downtime before I go downstairs and geek out about varroa mites for 3 straight days with strangers. I'm actually looking forward to it very much. But I wanted to record this now because the topic I'm tackling this year with my fellow beekeepers, let's just say it's a little spicy. It goes against everything I was taught when I started. It goes against what your grandfather did. And it definitely goes against what you read in chapter 4 of Beekeeping for Dummies. I want to talk to you about winter survival. Specifically, I want to tell you why ventilation, that thing we obsess over, might actually be killing your bees. And I want to tell you why I took a huge leap of faith and switched my entire operation to the condensing hive method for 2026. If you're tired of buying packages every April because you lost 40% of your colonies, grab a coffee because we need to have a serious talk. The old dogma, or as I like to call it, how to freeze your friends. Let's start with the golden rule of winter beekeeping and repeat it with me. Cold doesn't kill bees, moisture kills bees. Technically, true. If a bee is 35 degrees and wet, she's dead. No argument there. So for the last 50 years, our solution has been to turn our hives into wind tunnels. We prop up the inner cover with popsicle sticks. We drill holes in the sides of the boxes. We use shims. We basically treat our hives like a sweaty gym locker that needs to be aired out. But here's the question that keeps me up at night. If ventilation is the magic bullet, why are we still losing 40% of our hives every year? If this chimney effect worked, we should have 100% survival rates. But we don't. We have dead bees. Airflow, guys. Think about the physics of a vented hive. You have a door at the bottom. You have a vent at the top. The bees are working their butts off to generate heat. Heat rises. In a vented hive, that heat shoots right out the roof like it's leaving a chimney. Nature abhors a vacuum. So to replace that hot air, freezing cold air gets sucked in through the bottom. You're forcing your bees to heat a house where you left the front door open and the attic hatch missing. They have to burn through their honey stores like crazy just to stay alive. They stress out. They age faster. And the kicker, venting doesn't even stop the condensation. That warm air rises, hits your thin, crappy, freezing cold wooden lid, and boom, dew point. It condenses right there on the ceiling. And then it rains ice water directly onto the bee cluster. So we vented the heat that they worked so hard to make, and we kept the cold shower. We lost on both fronts. It's the tree hollow versus the cardboard box. I decided to look at where bees actually want to live. And spoiler alert, they didn't evolve in 3/4-inch white pine boxes from a factory. They evolved in trees. And a tree hollow is the exact opposite of what we give them. Thick walls. We're talking inches of wood, very high insulation, and very high R value. A sealed top. Nature doesn't put a chimney above the brood nest. The heat gets trapped in a dome. They do this intentionally. Scout bees look for this feature intentionally in tree hollows. A small bottom entrance, just enough for air, not a draft. These wide open entrances that we all run with it's crazy. And it's probably the reason for some absconsions. In nature, bees are hoarders. They hoard honey and they hoard heat. This is where the condensing hive concept comes in. It's backed by some serious science from guys like Bill Helsbach and Derek Mitchell. Very smart guys, way smarter than me. The philosophy is simple: stop trying to condition the air inside the box, start conditioning the box itself. So, physics, man. Physics 101, the warm ceiling hack. Here's how the condensing hive works, and it's surprisingly simple. You take your hive and you put heavy insulation right on the top. I'm not talking about a piece of cardboard. I'm talking about R10 or higher. That's 2 inches of that pink or blue XPS foam board that you could find at most hardware stores. You put that right inside the telescoping cover. And then, this is the part that feels illegal. You seal the top, no notch, no penny, no popsicle stick. Tape it shut if you have to. It hurts to do this the first time. Now watch the physics change. Because the top is heavily insulated, the ceiling stays very warm, and condensation cannot happen physically on a warm surface. It's impossible. It's not improbable, it's impossible. So the moisture rises and hits this warm heat air bubble at the top, and it spreads out looking for a cold spot. Where's the cold spot? It's the sidewalls. So the water condenses on the sides and not the top. It runs down the walls harmlessly if the hive is pitched right. And it bypasses the bees completely. The cluster isn't even close. And the bees stay dry. The heat stays in. It's a cozy cabin and not a drafty shed. But wait, there's a bonus feature. It's a secret weapon. It's an internal water cooler that you don't have to do anything with. We forget that bees get thirsty in January and February. They're eating honey. Winter honey is rock hard, 18% water, and to digest it, they need to dilute it. They need water. In a vented hive, we dry the air out so much that the bees can actually die of dehydration. Very weird year, but it's been 50 degrees outside today. It's 50 degrees back in New Jersey on the farm. They're probably going out for some cleansing flights, getting some water, but besides that, it's been very cold and dry. This is the first time in many years we've had a cold, dry winter. They could be sitting on 50 pounds of honey and starve because they're too thirsty to process it. It's called dry isolation starvation. In a condensing hive, that water runs down the wall. It's not a waste product. It's a water cooler. The bees can walk over to the wall, take a sip, and go back to the cluster. We're turning a moisture problem into a hydration station. So, what do I know? I don't know anything. I've been doing this for 5 years. But the proof for me was my 2025 experiment. I know you're all super skeptical. You're thinking, Jason, if I seal my hive, I'm going to open it in March and find a box of moldy mush. I thought the same thing. I was terrified. So last year, back at the farm in New Jersey, I ran a trial. I took half of my hives. The old way, vented top, no insulation. The new way, R10 foam in the lid, literally duct taped it shut. Everything else was equal. Same mite treatments, same feeding, same approximate weights. And fast forward to the spring of 2025, in the vented group, I lost 12 out of 25, 48% loss. It's pretty standard for a bad winter in New Jersey, but it wasn't a bad winter. There were other factors last year, crazy absconsions and just weird stuff. But the condensing group, we lost three, just three. That's a 12% loss. That's a 75% reduction in death just by buying a sheet of foam and using some duct tape. And the survivors, the condensing bees, were monsters. They had frames of honey left over, probably two more frames more than the non-condensing hives because they didn't have to burn through it for heat. They started brooding up 2 or 3 weeks earlier than the other hives. I was making splits while the vented hives were still hitting the snooze button. Guys, you got to try this. Spend all that money. What's it going to cost you? Besides $300, $400 on a split or a nuke or a package every single year. So the DIY recipe, if you want to try this, and seriously, try it on 5 hives this year. Here's your recipe. Get the foam, because we'll buy a 2-inch XPS foam board, cut it, make sure it's nice and snug. It fits in your telescoping cover perfectly. It needs to touch the inner cover. And then seal the chimney. Tape over the inner notch, put the lid down tight, make it airtight up top. I even use like cling form sometimes around. If it's later in the season, I know they don't have time to propolize, I'll wrap it in plastic. The bottom, leave the bottom entrance open. I reduce it for mice, obviously. They still need oxygen, but the top is sealed. You will not get a draft. You just get slow, passive air exchange. Check your entrances. Scoop them out every once in a while. It's their only way out now, so you got to make sure that's clear. Shout out to Fred Dunn, great beekeeper, great YouTube channel. Hive Visors, game changer. Google it. But a big warning here, big warning. Do not seal the top without insulation. If you seal a thin wooden lid, you'll create a rainforest and kill your bees. 100% death. You must have the R10 insulation to keep that ceiling warm. Final thoughts, guys. I know change is hard. We love our traditions. And remember, if you ask beekeepers the same question, you get the same answer all the time, right? I mean, beekeepers are stubborn people. But if you're tired of shoveling dead bees out of boxes every March, maybe it's time to stop fighting physics. I'm going to be talking about this all week here at NAHBE. If you're in Louisville, come find me on the expo floor. I'd love to argue about this. I'm going to argue with you about this in person and maybe over a bourbon. If you're not here, drop a comment below. Is that what you do as a YouTuber? Comment below. Have you tried the condensing method? Did it work? Did it fail? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Like my video. I'm gonna make videos. So why not? I'm gonna finish this coffee and head down to the registration before the line gets too crazy. Probably is. They line up like fans. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching my video. And as always, keep your bees warm, keep them dry, and I'll see you in the next one.